All right. Bonjour. Hello. So let's start, I guess. And I'm going to start by sharing a bit of a warning with you because, I mean, as you can probably hear right now, I sound terribly, terribly French. And I'm actually French from the South, so it's even more thick. You know, I've been in the UK for about 10 years, but it's still living up and strong. The accent is embedded into me. So anyway, I'm really happy to be here today. I'm really happy to meet you all. And I thought since we are all here sharing the love, I kind of came up with a bit of a plan there. And, just to give you a bit of a background, I mean, I trained as a painter, and I was actually a terrible painter. And so I moved to do design, and I learned, critical design, which I will tell you a bit more at the Royal College of Art. Along the way, I thought, well, you know what, maybe AIGA, I'm going to say AIGA because I'm French, AIGA, it's a bit of a limp for me to go all the way that far. So AIGA/AIGA. I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to actually get back to my roots, try to go back to it and actually really figure out whether or not I did right in changing my career there. So what I thought is, we are going to share a bit of a total bombardment. It's not going to be your usual talk. Huh? It's not going to be a one where there is an introduction, a conclusion, and there is a summary point, all of this and that. It's going to be a total bombardment. I'm going to bombard you with everything I've done so far. And we only have 20 minutes together, and then so be prepared as well. It's going to be absolutely chaotic. I love chaos. I believe in chaos as a method of public engagement. So just having said all of this is a warning, done, / we move to the next step, and here is my intro. It is 10:15, I mean actually a bit earlier, and I'm feeling really lonely. I've got this huge stage, right? And clearly, and you will see that from the work I'm doing, I need some guidance. And I need some guidance, and I need some love, and mainly what I need is partners in crimes. I never do anything without partner in crimes. And one thing we know in education, actually, we believe in peer-to-peer review. We believe into our mentor, and we need them to be with us along the way. So I thought, I actually really need my partner in crime. So what I did is actually painted a few of them, and I'm going to ask them to join me on stage and just be there with me, supporting me along the way, sharing with you the work I've been doing for the past 10 years, and then, just sharing the love. So I'm going to call, first of all, Gail. Where are you, Gail? Gail Anderson, where are you? Are you here? Is Gail here? Oh, is she here? No? No Gail Anderson? Oh, that's a real shame. Bon. So no Gail, I will give her a portrait a bit later. Let's see who's next. Debbie Minman, where are you, Debbie? Debbie is not here? No. Oh no, I'm missing on my mentor. Where is she gone? She probably has been signing, too many books, so no Debbie either. We will share this portrait with her. It was actually not my most, let's put it this way, not my most accurate looking portrait there. But I tried. I mean, everything is about trying and failing. In my work, it might not work, we never know, but at least I tried. Rick, are you here, Rick? Where is Rick? Rick? Yes! Hallelujah! One of my partner in crimes with me. So Rick, please join me on stage. Yeah. Whichever way you want to come. Voila, Rick. Rick, who has been the executive director of AIGA for the past 20 years. An incredible inspiration to me. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. So if you want to just maybe actually take the seat of Roman. So have a seat here, and then here is your portrait. You can keep hold to it. That's it. That's yours. Voila, here you go. So if you want to just stay with me and support me, that will be fantastic. Then we have Michael. Where are you, Michael? Michael, you come. Michael, we met in South Africa, actually. He was the man rocking up the stage at Design Indaba, and he's been rocking up my life since then. Here you go. Merci. Merci, Michael. Have a seat. Oh, here you go. Voila, that's your portrait. Very good. Then we are going to have as well Hélène. Where are you, Hélène? Hélène, please. I'm sorry, Hélène. Where are you? I wasn't. Hélène, please, don't take it personally. I tried. I tried. I will do it again. It's all about doing it again and again. No, you stay with us. Yeah. Please stay with me. Come here, Hélène, come here. Voila, parfait. So if you guys, you want to stay with me and just share the stage while I go on and talk about mythology and how we are all myth makers, I will greatly appreciate it. So, apparently it's been said that in education, when you have your peers with you, you perform better. So we are going to actually experience that together. Here you go. Boy, Hélène, just maybe don't look at it too much. Just look at the back. The back is actually better. It's more, yeah, just, anyway, I tried. And Roman, where are you, Roman? Roman Mars, come here, Roman. I know you're hiding backstage. It's happening, everybody. Yes, it's happening. Ah, voila, Roman, the 1 million men. 1 million men, fundraise, 99% invisible, you need no more introduction. The man is fantastic, we all know it, here it is. Roman, just stay here with me. Voila. Maybe actually look up maybe a bit more towards me. So maybe you guys, if you can look a bit more this side, so then I can, so then I can feel the love, that's it. Okay, super. You look amazing. Are you feeling too lonely over there? Are you okay? Okay, all right. So let's start. Let's actually start. Act 1, where we all agree that we are mythologists and we have no long-term plan. So bear with me, this is the most pessimistic part of the entire presentation. You get uplifted after. Huh? So 1957, we've got this gentleman in France called Barthes who started to write about mythology. And what he says that actually our everyday is surrounded by this object that kind of become an inherent part of our culture, an inherent part of our language. And he's basically saying that in a way the mythologist is the man or the woman, let's put it, maybe this is a woman actually. The mythologist is a woman that has the duty to reveal the universal bourgeois. I mean, in France, everything which has to do with culture has to do with bourgeois, but that's something that we do in there. And so he says that basically, myths are here to actually regulate our language and they kind of define our culture. So the mythologist is actually really important to all of us. And in a way, all of us, as creative, we are myth makers. We are the people that digest the culture, retranslate it, and it goes through ourselves, and then it gets transcribed to members of the public. So yes, we do live in a world of myth, and back in the days with Barthes, he was the face of Carbo, which was supposed to be the flesh, on screen. The woman was never smiling. It was a Citroën DS, which was this sort of like mobile Nautilus, or the detergent and, wrestling and so on. If you have not read mythology, please go and have a look. So that was in 1957, right? And the mythologist was really here to reveal, but he was also really political because, of course, he defined what make our everyday, he defined what sort of like inherent myths build up our language. So, I'm going there. So 1958, following Barthes, we have the blob. And the blob is kind of the opposite of the mythology. The blob is a sort of, the killer of the culture. The actual, nobody is a blob. It's just this sort of like thing. I mean, if you've not seen this film, it's the story of a massive pace that eats out all the world. And and then nothing is left out of it. And so in 1958, we had that. And now we have Google Trend. And Google Trend is... Google Trend is very much like the blob, right? It's sort of like eating up our culture, and us as designers become very difficult because, Google is nothing, is nobody. Like, we don't recognize which designer is behind it, we don't know who they are, we don't know how they define which trend is more relevant than another trend, we don't know anything. So in a way, what I'm saying here is that we should really reclaim who we are, we should really transcribe, ourselves behind the work as well, and sort of like reventing what choice we make. So where are we now? We are in a world where, everything is becoming NASA. NASA is a laundromat. NASA is also liquor. We have, look what is happening here. Apollo tire and wheel. I mean, it's like everything become everything and nothing at the same time. And even nowadays, you can experience what it is to be facing fake Paleolithic painting in caves. I mean, and it's like, in the south of France, we have made a copy of an actual, Paleolithic cave, and they say to people when they come into it, this is, as old as a Neanderthal. No, it's not. It's like, it's all fake, right? So it's kind of, you know, it's kind of a bit depressing for us, and this is really, I think, the challenge. It's how can we get members of the public engaged with anything, any meaning, any research? How can we get them viscerally engaged with any work, in a way? And so I think we really need to start to think long term, because we have a tendency as well to think in terms of, you know, here I'm going to design for the now and this audience and da-da-da. But actually, as graphic designers specifically, you know, what happened with the next generation? How do you communicate in the next generation 10,000 years down the line? How do you tell them to not dig through the nuclear waste holes that we have done because it's dangerous? So I think there is like really, really great challenge at stake. And in science, they have addressed that. You know, like for example, you've got the drag equation, where I come from. You know, I work at the SETI Institute. I will tell you a bit more about this in a second. But at SETI, you know, we have someone called Frank Drake that came up with this equation, which is giving us the potential number of, you know, civilization or intelligent civilization that might be out there. And so, of course, it depends on different components, whether there is a habitable planet that can support life, that could support life, and so on. But what I'm saying is like it's really seeing long-term, like really large perspective. So I'm going to leave you with this, and I think we should all try and debate what is our long-term thinking. Where do we want to see ourselves in the next 10,000 years? What do we want to let to the next generation in a way? So Act 2, where I'm going to talk to you about design of experiences, which is actually more into the now, but yeah. So since 2009, are you okay? You're feeling okay? Thank you so much. You know, I'm so glad you're here. So since 2009, I have this studio, you know, Nelly Ben Hayoun studio in London, and basically my work is really focused on these two areas, you know, critical design and the theater of cruelty. And really my whole work is actually about trying to get members of the public engaged with, you know, a specific research, specifically in space exploration. But if you don't know what critical design is, do you know what critical design is about? Have you ever heard about critical design? Yes, oui. 1999, the term was coined by someone called Anthony Dunn, and the idea is actually it's a problem-finding approach more than a problem-solving approach. So critical designer will come up with platform for debate, where actually, you know, work with science fiction author, nanotechnology, synthetic biologists, and build up this giant, you know, platform where we are going to actually discuss the debate of tomorrow in a way. So that's what critical design is about. They are the sort of the pain in the R&D lab, the people who always question the why. Why are we doing this? Why? And so, so we do this in the studio, but we also look at, you know, theatrical methodology. And one of my mentor, partner in crime as well, but he's dead, unfortunately, that one, Antonin Artaud, he couldn't be with us today. Antonin, he came up with the theater of cruelty. And the theater of cruelty is this notion that, you know, in a way, he was a dramaturge and he was really fed up with having, you know, a passive public in front of him. So what he will do, he will literally vomit on the public. He will spread them some blood in their face just to make them react and actually create momentum of conflict. So he believed in violence. He believed in violence, but as a way to actually engage an audience, to actually, you know, get them to really sympathize or to take part into a debate. And then commedia dell'arte, you know, when we think about design, we never think really about improvisation, right? You don't want to sit on a chair and the chair falling apart, right? But when it comes to like this sort of like in-between sphere, and specifically with the design of experiences, because you do theatrical component, then you need to think about form like this. So commedia dell'arte, 17th century, the craft of improvisation. You have people on stage, they enact some sort of like extreme characters, and off you go, the narrative will kind of like develop itself. So the design of experiences, that's the way I will define it, is the engineering of a situation that will generate critical thinking both inside an institution and within members of the public. That's the ultimate goal, right? And so in that, you know, my past background in painting has been a great influence, because actually what if we could generate experiences that have a tone, that have a palette, that's kind of like stamp or embed an impression into a member of the public to the point where they will live it and, you know, remember the pace of the work in a way, like they will remember a painting, for example. So what do? I generate dark energy in people think. I actually, you know, will come up with design like this that actually fully work and allow you to generate a bit of the unknown while you eat your pancakes. I will make a volcano in people's lounge. This is a repulsion of the Mount St. Helens. It's actually fully working. It's filled up with gunpowder, come with a power supply, and here you go. You've got the eruption of the Mount St. Helens right here, right now. The Soyuz chair gives you the full lift-off experience of the Soyuz rocket, Russian rocket, stage 1, 2, and chemistry before the liftoff, and then off you go every Friday. Voila! Woo! Every Friday you can experience what a rocket liftoff is like. Sonic boom in your bathroom. Here is an installation of 50 meters long that allow you to experience what it feels like to be face to face with a particle that is traveling faster than the speed of light. Here it is if you want to experience what it feels like to swim into an 84,000 marble kingdom pool, where you can actually also learn how to scuba dive without water and battle all night long. And even more so, we have done some work on the Barcelona share. You know, we invited Foley artists, so I don't know if you know what Foley artists are, but they are people who do all the sound effects behind all the films. And we recorded the sound of someone sitting on that chair, and we asked them to perform it with the everyday tools. So then everybody can actually reenact this, you know, experience or sonorification experience of sitting on the Barcelona chair, because not everybody can afford a Barcelona chair, let's put it this way. Here is a famous other piece, the Valentini typewriter, which has a very distinct sound. And then most recently, you know, I'm leading this orchestra at NASA called the International Space Orchestra. It's an orchestra made up, you know, like you have the head of NASA playing the gong, astronaut Gaggle playing the percussion, and they reenact all the drama of mission control, everything that went wrong. And they also share their passion for science, but also for creativity. And here you go, we've got, you know, incredible composer on board, Bobby Womack. Unfortunately, you know, he left us, but he was with us for the first performance. Damon Albarn. We have a fantastic musical director, Evan Price, that trained them. And then each of them is given a role which is not their real role in real life. And so that creates all this tension and all this conflict and discussion among themselves inside an agency that doesn't always allow that type of discussion. Here we are performing in front of the world, like just Wind Tunnel. We got eventually invited at Skywalker to record, and eventually, you know, we got to perform, and every year we perform. So if there is any composer in the audience that want to perform with the International Space Orchestra, come and talk to me at the end of this. Last year, you know, we performed with Beck. They eventually got a standing ovation. These guys are absolutely getting better and better. We are about 60 now, 66. We keep on growing. And then eventually we send the work in space twice. We send it through nanosatellite, and eventually we got, next. Yeah, and then eventually we send it to the International Space Station, where he went with astronaut Cristoforetti back in May, so it's pretty recent. Here is a record of the International Space Orchestra flying in the ISS, and then he just got back. And this is a stamp, which I believe say in Russian that he went in space and came back with us. So we are delighted of this. So the work really revolves around working in collaboration, and all of this, you know, experience are tangible, because it's no point telling you you're going to experience a rocket liftoff if it's all fake. So I will work with astronauts to actually make sure that it's as close as it can be. Here is at the Large Hadron Collider, where we bombard protons at the speed of light. Super Kamiokande, a place where we bombard, you know, protons. Here it's at Disaster City, and here, you know, at the UN, where I happen to spend quite a fair amount of time as well discussing with politicians, which I love sharing. Are you still okay? You're not getting bored? Yes? I wish I had something to give you to eat, and you want me to go faster? Oh yeah, I'm feeling good here. I mean, you know, I could just stay here forever. So yes, but I think this is the thing. It's like, nothing is impossible if you really want to make things happen. And I think this is really the ethos of the studio. And this is something that we truly believe in, as much as we believe as well in the hammering technique. The hammering technique is my special. I mean, Michael, you can talk, you know me since about, what, 5 years actually? Yeah, 5 years. So, I mean, you have experienced what the hammering technique is like, huh? Little by little you've seen. So it's basically this notion of a no is never a no, it's always a yes. So actually you just go and you go back and you go back until someone eventually tell you, yes, my dear, we are going to be part of your project. So we like to tell story on multiple channel. We call that as well word domination in the studio. So the idea is to actually, you know, line up all of these different, you know, position and roles, so then we can have an action on all these different levels and all these different audience. So since, you know, 2 years now, I'm the designer of experience at the SETI Institute, which is a search for extraterrestrial intelligence, which was created by Carl Sagan, you know, Frank Drake back in the 80s. And the whole mission of, you know, the Institute is to actually figure out whether or not we are alone. Fantastic place to work with, incredible scientists. You know, a member of the International Astronautical Federation, where I can talk about politics, politics and why is it that we should do space outreach differently. I'm head of experiences at WeTransfer, and by the way, I've got good news for you. You know, if you don't know what WeTransfer is, it's a service that allows you to actually share file, you know, all over the world, 66 million active users. And as you share your file, you've got this background that comes up. So as the head of experience, I'm basically building up this partnership with more critical, you know, let's say in-depth content with The Guardian and other, you know, partners. But what I would like to say as well is like they are partnering with AIGA, and if you look on Twitter now, you should see a link that allows you to have a free plus account, so 20 gigabytes for free. Oh my God, you can share all these files right now if you just click on this thing. Okay, Wired Innovation Fellow, all of these things, and then it pretty much ends up being like this, huh? But yeah, that's basically is part of the strategy. Total bombardment is something that we like to think is really allowing us to do more and more of this crazy thing. So yeah, this is it where she's actually running out of time and she has so much more to say. I have so much more to tell you. But yes, yesterday I was showing this film, Disaster Playground, which is a film that is looking at this extreme scenario of Armageddon, you know, what happened when an asteroid is striking. So I follow up all the chain of command which is at play all the way to the UN and the White House, and you meet all of the characters that will have a role to play there. And it's very different from a Bruce Willis film. And by doing this film, I was trying to figure out whether or not when it comes to this type of extreme situation, you know, scientists are more looking at role player like Oppenheimer, are they looking at performing like Oppenheimer? Are they looking at performing like Marie Curie? Are they looking at performing like Bruce Willis? When they are put under an extreme condition like this, and specifically situation that they never were asked to enact, you know, how do they perform? And so Anna Arendt has been another partner in crime as well. You know, I love philosophy, as you probably have noticed, but she was saying back in the days that actually scientists had no critical thinking, and so we should always make sure that politicians are actually controlling them. And I think it's very interesting, like, and that's what the film is sort of like showing, is the power structure that are in place, when does the politics come in, when it comes to take any decision, and, you know, I engineer all this situation, this theater of cruelty for them, so then, you know, we actually get to see their raw and real performance on the day. So here is a few pictures of the film. You probably got the fact that I work a lot with musicians as well. The Prodigy, Ed Banger, if you don't know Ed Banger, Daft Punk, and Justice. And here you go, that's an extract of the film for you.
At 0400 Pacific, we were notified of a building collapse at building 239. Cause unknown. Reports indicate a pancake collapse of 3 floors at ground level. Proceed to the scene immediately.
This is what we know so far. At 8:30 this morning, an asteroid impacted the county of Granger.
Our team on the ground are currently investigating the subject matter. If you can, shelter yourself.
Catalina Sky Survey, this is Eric.
I can't believe this. There's news here that an asteroid just hit in Texas. And it took out an entire town.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me what you're talking about.
Asteroids?
An asteroid.
An asteroid.
We have the means to protect our planet if we choose to do so. If we don't, we might go the way of the dinosaurs.
Asteroids are definitely coming. There is one that's going to hit the Earth. It's already set on that trajectory. We just don't know which one it is. So here's a tremendous catastrophe that can be prevented by humans working and observing and modeling and preparing.
Although it's very exciting to talk about blowing up an asteroid or pushing it or moving it,
yeah.
What we need to do before we think about that is understand what's the threat.
If we reject to do something, and as a consequence, millions of people die, history will not forget.
So I guess you got it. It's basically performed by all of them, and it's currently on Netflix and all digital platforms, so, you know, do let me know what you think of it. And yes, and I think what came out of the film is basically something that I love. I mean, sorry for the design actually of this system. I should probably ask you, Michael, to have a go at the design of this thing, right? Because it's kind of a bit undigestible currently. But basically, you know, we reveal basically all the issue, or maybe like the slack between the component of the emergency procedure by actually actually getting them to enact it live in front of the camera. And so this diagram, which probably don't mean much to you, but actually show all the issues that are to do with asteroid detection and how they communicate between each other, is now being used by them at the UN. And I think this is a thing. I think next time we should do AIGA at the UN. We should go a step, a step more with the politics, and actually, really go, because we have a role to play in this, really. And so this is, this is where we are with the project currently. Is being used, hopefully is going to be, used for them during their rehearsal, which is taking place next year at the UN, where they're going to perform all these things. So currently we are putting together a Viking expedition. I will be at sea for the next 6 months. And, if any of you want to join us, we are still looking for partners. It will be quite a wild and bold expedition where we are going to look for life to send in outer space, colonization of outer space, minus 11 kilometers all the way to the great beyond the sky type of, and we have a lot of Vikings as well as part of our crew. I cannot say too much about it, but in January I will be able to tell you all about this, but please do keep an eye for this wild project, and we will be going in places like this, which are based in Mexico. I don't know if you know about the giant crystal cave, but here we are. That will be part of our goal. So yes, I think we can totally do it, and let's do it, isn't it? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Merci. I think, Roman, we should all stay together. We should. I just stay with you guys. No, we stay together. No. Yeah. I don't. No. I feel like home now. I don't want to go. Shall we all stay? Yes. I mean, how do you feel? Well, I think we should. You stay, no? Yeah, we all should. Can we? I can use this microphone, or you can use my microphone. Where we? It's like. In the 70s in Columbia University, they did this colloquium called the schizo culture. Where they brought in Michel Foucault together with Borrow, and they all started to fight on stage. And, the guy who was organizing the conference lost his wife in the thing because she decided to dump him. I mean, I love this momentum where everything gets really messy. And you see what I'm saying? Like, we should literally invite everyone to actually join us.
Right now.
But that's our typical AIGA event.
Yeah.
This is special.
Yeah. How you mean, like, to be organized and, yeah.
So you want as many people on stage as possible right now? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, we should get a bit more people on board.
Yeah, so who? Come on. Who's
let's
brave?
Get a few more. Who's doing, Leia? Yes, that's it.
Come on, there we go.
One of our speakers for tomorrow. She's coming up there. Very nice. That's it. We are sharing the love on stage. This is beautiful. Thank you, guys. This is marvelous to be here. Merci. It feels right. Merci. It feels right that it took me a while, 18 hours to get here. So that's it. Voilà, let's feel the love. Let's come, voilà. Maybe we can, maybe someone can
have us.
Let's have a few more seats. We've got a few more. Thank you. Merci.
I don't know what's going on, people.
Voilà. Voilà, that's it. Let's get more share. It's happening. Whoopla. Here you go. I have one more here. Voilà, that's it. Yeah. Let's all debate together. This is the way it should always be, you see. I don't see why they always put this stage and these things. You can never sit, feel comfy. With small, want to be in the front, maybe yes, this is really great. Yeah, you want to sit as well, so then we've got the mixture, always having as many women as men saying, voila, that's it. Beautiful. Okay, I think we are quite right. This is parfait. Dawn, where are you, Dawn? Where is Dawn? No, she's not here? Oh. A shame. Well, anyway, we have everybody. Great.
Okay, so now you have all your allies.
Yeah, we have everybody.
So clearly, should I ask you a question, or should I just ask a random person a question? Don't fall off the stage.
That's it. Oh my God, this is Google is with us today. Guys, let's just paint this. Let's
So clearly.
Are you feeling overwhelmed, Roman?
No, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. But clearly, in all this chaos and provocation and disruption, the key element to this is joy in all that you do. That's what I see.
I will not say joy because it's actually quite painful sometimes. But I will say passion is definitely the reason why we are all doing this work, right? I think it's being passionate and deeply curious about everything that surrounds us. and making sure that we can sort of like translate it to members of the public. Yeah.
Does anyone have a critical reaction to Nelly? Would they like to share? Go ahead.
I don't know what the fuck is going on. But I like it.
Thank you, Ellen. You know, I recognize there the reason why I'm so inspired by, you know, the critical mind behind the exhibition that you put together. Yeah, did you see have you seen I wrote like special dedicates on the back of each of your paintings as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you don't have to read them now. I mean, you know, it's more something personal. But, yeah. You know.
I mean, just so you know, just the purity of this moment, I had no idea this was going to happen. Just beforehand, she said, "You're okay if I do stuff, right?" And I was like, "Sure. I'm okay with doing stuff." So I'm taking notes backstage, and all of a sudden it's like, "Roman, come out." This is amazing. So now that we're here, what should we do? Because I don't feel like I know what to do at this point.
Well, I mean, we should discuss about actually our long-term plans. You know, what are our long-term plans? What do we want to do next?
For an asteroid?
How do we communicate? Do you have a thought about this? How do you communicate to generation next down the line, above 100 years? How do you do that?
Helvetica.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael, go for it. How do you communicate to 100 years in the future?
You know, they've actually done work that you would love about this that has to do with not 100 years, but 100,000 years in the future. The scientists who are figuring out where to bury nuclear waste have commissioned studies trying to figure out how you would mark those places as dangerous using not just nonverbal cues, but cues that are so fundamental to the way living creatures think and react to things that they would know the place was dangerous inherently.
Have you seen The Walk? Is it interesting? Or
The movie The Walk?
The Walk, no,
The Work. Oh, the
like
movie The Walk.
The Walk that I proposed.
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting because it's like scary black spiky, scary like sharp spiky things that look chaotic actually, but kind of look beautiful too. And it's really hard to actually figure out how to do universal communication at that scale. And it's actually pretty hard to do it, I think, for 100 years, actually. Yeah. I think it's actually hard to do it for 10 years.
We did a story about this, and one of the things about making a warning is that it is attractive, and it brings people in. And one of my favorite crazy ideas for this was that we would genetically splice in radioactive bioluminescence in cats. And when the cats glow green, you know not to go there. And you release them out in the wild, and if there's any sort of radiation there, it turns on the glowing cats, the ray cats we call them. And you would start to seed culture with folklore so that if you heard the song, you know, don't go where the ray cats are, that would transfer over time. It's batshit insane. It's never going to work. But I love thinking about that. I mean, thinking about a 10,000-year communication is something that we probably don't spend enough time on.
Because at SETI, we have as well the Arecibo message, you know, which is supposed to be if we were to actually have any extraterrestrial intelligence that eventually will communicate with us. So Frank Drake actually defined that. And he looks like a sort of a beep, beep, beep type of like binary type of language. Right. But I think there is so much more for us to do there, which I think, you know, it's also, thinking beyond what is happening just now and actually looking above and beyond.
I mean, do you have a favorite example of looking above and beyond?
Do I have an example?
A favorite example. Like, what is your favorite idea of communicating 100 years in the future?
What is my favorite idea?
Yeah,
I don't know yet. I've not found it, but maybe I've not found it yet. You know, that's the whole point. Is like at SETI we are still searching, so it's like it's a permanent search.
And what is going on at SETI? Are you guys having a good time up here? Good. Okay. So I just want to make sure that I'm doing my job.
I wish I could offer you a bit of like a drink. You know, like usually I like to share whiskey in this situation. A bit of a nibbling. You know, it's like back in the day, specifically in France, like we had this big thing about Salon. You know, the Salon where you will talk and invite everybody. And have a discussion.
Well, feel free to have side discussions if you want to. I want to know. I want to know a little bit about SETI because this is these are serious scientists. They're all working towards a thing that is extremely hopeful goal.
Yeah.
You know, this idea that there's
Life.
intelligent life out there.
Well, I mean, you're called Mars, you know. I mean,
Yeah,
what
well,
I'm saying is like, this is what I told. I mean, literally, when he called me the first time, Roman, and I was like, my God, like, it was just the day where they found water on Mars. I was like, seriously, you're the most, you know. I mean, you were everywhere in the news at that point.
I was.
So we actually, it's not that speculative, right? We found that there is water on Mars.
Well,
Therefore,
of course. I mean, it's not. I think that given the numbers. And that's very clear in the study point of view it's very clear that there is some kind of life out there. We just have to find it, or it has to find us. But it's still, they all are acting, much like a designer who is, you know, trying to create things, you know, thousands of years in the future. We're acting on a bit of faith that there is somebody there to receive it.
Yeah.
And I want to know what is the environment like where there's all these people spending all these resources and all these really, really smart people.
Yeah.
And like to help us when we're thinking about just the communication of the product coming out next month. How do we keep in mind, how do we sort of, you know, imbue like our sensibility with that of the SETI scientist who is working so hard on a thing that we don't know what the answer is yet?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess, you know, just very recently, actually, Frank Drake, who is now 82, I think, was communicating and he was saying that actually, you know, I mean, obviously SETI is based in the Silicon Valley, in the core of the Silicon Valley.
Right.
And actually, it turns out that, you know, it used to be that people like Paul Allen and so on will support the SETI research because they will see the value in it.
Right.
But more and more so, it becomes very difficult for this research to actually take place because I think our mindset really moved from looking and being, you know, really curious about, you know, what might be out there, whether or not there might be something, whether or not we should, you know, like just keep on developing tools for research, for this speculative research. I mean, speculative might happen like tomorrow, might happen in 100 years. And actually they have massive difficulties currently. Like SETI, you know, is sort of like falling apart, budget are disappearing, and yeah, so I mean, if any of you want to like make sure that there is still people and actually scientists looking at this specific topic, then, you know, go support them. They're probably your neighbor. A lot of you may be from, you know, San Francisco as well. So you should go and visit them, support them, see what they do. And yeah, I think it's a fantastic place to work in. I mean, it's like, you know, my neighbor is looking at communication between dolphins and how that might inform communication with outer space. You know, you have someone else who is a meteor shower specialist. You have, you know, you have all range and all sorts of research taking place there. And they are all fundraising for their own work. And I think, you know, for me, they are a bit like the punk version of science. You know, it's like they don't respond to any federal, you know, government or administration, which is pretty much the sort of the nebula in which NASA is. You're not very free to kind of develop your research at NASA because you have to respond to budget and, you know, and all of that.
And you have to be more so applied. I think that's one of the things that we miss out on. And like I spent some time in science, and there's this, and I think in design, and I think in all sorts of aspects, we're there to solve a single problem, and I think to the detriment of this exploratory concept of how we should do design and how we should do science, because so much of the advances in science were done not because you were trying to solve a certain thing, and we should treat design like that too.
Totally, and I think we need to remember that we are complex human beings, and it's not like, you know, most of the time you will be seen as consumer or users, and it's the same thing with research as well. It's like there is not one type of science, it's like there is a really long variety and breadth of it, and, you know, we call it astrobiology at SETI Institute, you know, looking for life on other planets, and that has got a really big variety of development there, and I think, yeah, it's been fascinating working there, definitely.
So, you guys are all staying.
Yeah,
sure, go for it.
I've actually heard that the alien life that you discovered are the special guest speakers at the AIGA 2515 conference. So congratulations.
There we go.
Nice, nice. I think it's coming next, no? There is someone from GPL coming to talk with you.
Yes.
That's
this afternoon.
Because
so
I'm checking
tuned.
on his note, actually. You know, I'm like, this is it. Yeah,
So in the back, if you're listening, I'm not going to end this. We're all going to stay. And then I'm going to have you guys read some of these announcements. But let's play the interstitial. Everyone stand.
I like that. Chill out and play the interstitial. I cannot even say that.